Welcome to Channel AMEC, your insight to the Australian visa system. Good day everyone, my name is Carl Young, your online YouTube visa consultant. Are you interested in migrating to Australia? Why don't you consider to subscribe to my channel and turn on the bell on the side, so once you have all the updates and news, you'll be the first one getting all the insight. Alright, today's video we would like to update you in regards to the Minister of Education, Clare, who has announced the caps on international students, which the news has went on globally. Now, Australia is not, first of all, we need to know that Australia is not the first country that's looking to caps on international student arrival. There has been a similar case has been done in Canada. Now, Australia is just following up a way to curb the cost of inflation and also the so-called housing crisis. The previous Minister of Home Affairs, Clare is now the Minister for Housing. Not too sure how she's doing there. Hopefully she will put more grant and build more houses, so then we don't need to cap on international students anymore. However, despite all the chaotic debates, complaints, comments from different sector, obviously the international education sector is crying out not to do this because that will actually overkill the actual sector. Despite that, the policy made early this year had already cut almost 70% on the vet sector, about 20 on the higher education, and they will continue to press on. So let's see how that will go. Let's have to check out the actual news here. It's everywhere now. It's not just SBAs. There's the news is globally. It just went berserk everywhere on the internet. So the government has revealed its international student cap from 2025. So student want to come in, but anyway, that's got to be next semester anyhow, because it's already late August. The only further commencement will be university that runs on trimesters, but any others, and there's only a few university around Australia will run trimester that will have a commencement in October. But other than that, all the unis will actually run the next semester starting from early next year. That's going to be 2025. So this cap is going to be there, and the government of Australia is committed to actually implement the actual laws. The bill is already with the Senate, and I believe that the confirmation and the news came out today, yesterday, has a further confirmation there. So the university divided over government student cap, which it claims to make education system fairer and more sustainable. Now I will provide my comments at the end of this video for you as well. So let's have a look. So what they're going to do is they are going to cap the international student number for 2025 to be a level at 270,000. Now that may seem a lot, so I've prepared some statistics from the past that we can do some comparisons. Now there will be 145,000 on the public university. Now I think 90% of the university in Australia are public. There's only 30,000 for the other university and provider. I'm not too sure by what they mean by other providers. However, the vet sector seems to be good. They will be allocated with 95,000 for a student to commence in the vet sector. So previously, now that doesn't mean, first of all, we need to understand one thing. Now, despite the caps or number has been provided, that doesn't mean applying for student visa will be much easier than previous. Now, the current system, the existing system, we have seen so much of refusal on the vet sector is based on the genuine student test system. So that will still be in there. Now, plus the caps going on, now you may notice that for university or education provider to actually accept or provide a offer to the actual student will actually be harder, because previously and currently there's no caps. They can actually provide offer with whatever they likes. Now the university will be more selective on the student they want to pick. So obviously the quality of education can then that's what the government foresee can be improved and increase, but this obviously a lot of education institutions is crying out for such decisions. That's Education Minister Jason Clare, and now students are back. There are 10% more international students in universities, 50% more in private vocational. So they got to cut that. And the reason, we have spoke about this reason in our channel for the past perhaps 6 months. Education provider expressed the concern caps will lead to job and the revenue losses. In 2022, university collected about 8.6 billion of their 34.7 billion. So that's why a lot of people is saying it's a cash cow for the international education sector. However, we got to understand that the international education sector is actually third or fourth largest export for Australia. So if they do this, would this cause a further economic issues? Perhaps. We have just received information that the treasurer and the this morning from the Australian that the inflation rate, although has been decreased a bit, but it's still too high. It's still sitting at the 3.5%. So I assume the inflation will continue. Housing crisis will still be there for not for short term. So these issues will continue. Now, let me get you to the numbers that we have previously in previous years. So what we are looking at is the stats for 2023 and 24. So right here at the top here, this is right there, maybe a little too little for you to view, but I'll read them out. So for 2022 and 23, the total international student has been granted visa. Now there's a lot more than for the student apply, so some of them will be rejected, but for the granted number for 2024 and 23 is 577,295 students. That's a lot, more than 500,000 international students. Now the previous years is more realistic, because this is post-COVID number. So I assume that the number will be fixed at about 300 to 400,000 from what we can see, because we obviously 2020 and 2021 it's not really reliable, because during those time is the COVID and the border is closed. So although being granted, but not many. So looks like the 2019-20's number is more realistic, and plus a little bit more, because obviously there's a lot more numbers compared to 5 years ago. So you can see from 2023 and 24, despite the actual calculation here is only until the December 2023, but that's about 200,000, so that's half year. So if we times by 2, that will mean about 400,000. Now if we going back to the actual news here, oops, what have I clicked? Okay, let's go back there. The actual number is given is 270,000, so it's almost like half of the cap is actually putting almost half. I think they keep about 40% off the actual compared to this year's number. Now if we're looking into the higher education, so this let's scroll down to the higher education one. For 2022 and 23, that was 300,000, and for about 2024, that's there to 300,000. That's right down there. Okay. No, the figures are really tiny to read, but 2024 and 23 will be about 200,000. Now, compared to what it's gonna given, it's gonna shrink it to 145,000 there. So again, about 40% off compared to the existing number. If we do the right one with the comparison for the TAFE intake. So that's for the VEX sector. As you can see, that's about 153,000 for post-COVID year, and about 40 times 2, because that's half year, so 80,000. So it's about roughly about the right amount that are provided for 95,000. However, now that's for the granted visa granted number. They did not show the actual applications and the refusals. So as I said, it will still be really relevant that the general student test will still take aim at this. So again, you can people may ask, is this the core that people can actually apply for the VEX sector? Well, you can, but I think the strict level is still there, because you still need to pass the genuine student tests. All right, so if you downgrade, if you were previously a bachelor or master graduate and suddenly you want to apply for a diploma courses in Australia, obviously the general student test, you will likely to fail the general student test there. So again, that's the situation there. Now let's turn to the Koala news. That's for international education news. Again, they talked about the issue that had been announced yesterday. So 270,000 student caps. Now I wanted to put you more attention on the carve out the exemptions. So there are still students application that will be exempt from the caps. So apart from this, I think the news came out 2 or 3 days ago. The Northern Territory has no caps. Plus, if they apply for school students, so high school students, primary, middle schools, this kind of student application, there's no caps, so this exempt. Okay, so and the research students, no caps as well. Now, if you're a student taking standalone EDI course, English language, this is good for the EDI course, because EDI course has suffered majorly on the previous policies. However, again, that doesn't mean applying for EDI course you'll get a student visa straight away, because you will still need to go through the genuine student test. Okay, so don't apply for package courses anymore, because package courses that you'll be restricted on the caps. Non-awards, exchange students, so that's exchange from university and another university of around the world, so that's now no caps there. Government sponsor, obviously no caps, and the key foreign government scholarship, no caps, and the Pacific Timor listed no caps. So that's basically about it. So my comments in regards to the caps, look, it's a global phenomenon, the inflation in the post-COVID world. So I don't think as a state of Australia, which the country doesn't manufacture much, inflation continue to be there, despite the US is showing signs of major drops on inflation. But Australia is still far away from reaching the aim. So as long as inflation is still there, housing crisis will still be there. And thus, the caps on international student has to be enforced. And that is why we have seen the government of Australia is doing that. And also the government in Canada is doing the same thing as well. So anyway, what's your thoughts? Why don't you leave your comment right now below? And I'll see you next video. Goodbye.